Welcome back to Trading Card Tuesday. I'm Debbie with Ugly Dog Creations, and today what I'm going to do is I'm creating a fish ATC. And I started out, because I want to create a different type of background, I started out using masking fluid. And the type of masking fluid I used was Shiva, SHIVA. And to be honest with you, it's been in my art supplies for probably about 10 years. I haven't used it very often, but it is still intact. So that has something to say about that. It's a liquid mask, and as you can see, I covered the entire fish with it, and that's because I want to create a really interesting background. So the background, I'm using Copic Markers. Again, I mentioned that before in my other videos, that I'm new to Copics, and so I'm really trying to learn them. I outlined the actual drawing with a 0.3 Copic Multiliner, and then I lay down a whole color in the background of B00 to be the entire background of the water that's behind the fish. And then I go in and I'm going to be using B18, and it's a very dark color, and you're going to see that here in a minute. And it's at the bottom of the fish to show that the darker water is below it, and it's a really stark line. And then I go in with B14, and then I go in with B12. Previously, I've done it the opposite way. I lay down my lighter color B12, B14, and then B18. I probably will do that next time. You'll see I have a kind of a struggle getting it to blend at first, but you just keep working it. So I kind of go back and forth. You'll see with the B18, the B14, the B12, and even with the B00 here. So I use that over and over again until I get a nice blend in the blue. I go back later and I use it also in the bubbles. Once I remove the masking, I actually use all those colors again. And you can kind of see I'm kind of going back and forth and working it. It kind of makes the color a little lighter. You have to know, too, that when you're working with these markers, they're going to dry. And so as they dry, they're going to also incorporate a little bit more. So you kind of have to give that leeway, too. But there was still kind of a stark line there. So I continue working with it. And you can kind of see right here, it's starting to show more of a blend. So I stop there, and it's kind of setting. Remember, you're laying layers of ink. And I come back in with, I showed you that bottle there. It was Colorless Blender. Of course, you get a marker that is a Colorless Blender marker, and you can fill it with that. But I actually use a paintbrush, and I use an old paintbrush for this. And I start dripping drops of this Colorless Blender on the actual art. And you're going to see it pushes. That's what it does. The Colorless Blender is alcohol. It's pushing that ink, and it's pushing it ink from away where you put it at. And that's exactly what you do with each of those pieces. So it starts to create this kind of bubble effect, which is what I wanted for that kind of background, the water, to have that kind of effect. So I kind of worked with that. The next thing I do is I just remove the mask. And you can use an eraser to help you start it. It was very simple to peel it off. I just removed the masking, and then I have my fish and my bubbles. And that's the Shiva mask that I use. You can use any type of masking. It's a liquid masking. You could even use Fisk masking. That's a type of like a tape or a film that you would put over top of something. But this is very easy, small ATC card. So for the fish, the colors that I started using in the fish was G40, which is the lightest color. I color the entire fish that color. It's kind of what I said before. I kind of go in with my lighter color and then come back with my medium color, then my dark color, and then work it back. That's the best way I think I'm finding with the blending. So I did use G40. Then the next I used G43. And I kind of outlined, I went in and used Y00 for the eye. So it has a yellow eye. But then I go in with G40. G43 is what I'm using now for the scales. And then up through the tail and the fins. And then I use G46, which is going to be that darkest color. And then I go back down. So you're going to see that G46 right now. And it's considerably darker, and you're going to see that line. And then I kind of toggled back. I didn't want the ink to get too dry, so I went back to my G43 so it would start that blending process. And basically, you're working between those 3 markers constantly. So you're just trying to get that seamless so it's not a stark line and it starts to blend together. Those inks kind of flow together a little bit. I did the same thing basically with all the scales and the other fins that are on there. One of the things I would like to say is I did get some feedback to maybe speak more during it and kind of talk out what I'm doing. If you have any questions or you have anything that you want to give as suggestions or you would like to see, let me know. I'm using some masking fluid. It's a little bit different. I did a little bit kind of a different background, so that was kind of exciting, kind of changing it up. So let me know what you'd like to see in the videos. Again, I'm working this all year long, and ATC every week will be coming to you. I continue to go back and forth with my colors on here, and you'll see I'll create those bubbles here in a few minutes. So I really do appreciate for those people that are watching. I'm actually working on a Redbubble shop so that some of my pieces that I'm creating, I will actually create into print versions, and they can be put on different materials through Redbubble. And when I have that available, that link will go up inside these YouTube videos as well. So if you wanted something like this on a phone case, or you wanted it on a bag or something like that, some of my prints will come available. And as I do get that set up, I'll let everybody know about that. I kind of finish up the bubbles here, and like I said, I use the same colors, and I go back and forth to get those the right way, and then I go in with a Uniball gel pen. It's a white gel pen, and I add a little highlight to the eyes, add a little bit to the top of the bubbles because the light is coming from the top, a little bit on the top of the fins, a little sheen on some of the scales. And that kind of finishes out this ATC for this week. I hope that you enjoyed watching. If you are just watching for the first time, please like and subscribe. I'd like to see you come back. I'm doing a card every week for the entire year. So I hope that you enjoy it. And as I said before, I hope you have a creative day.